Okay, let's leave the safety of the modern world completely behind us for a few minutes. We're stepping straight into the visceral, gritty reality of the French Revolution. We so often think about 1793 in terms of grand philosophical ideals, sweeping historical decrees, and famous figures debating in massive halls of power. But for this explainer, we are stripping all of that away. We're going to look at the day-to-day survival of the everyday people actually living on the ground during the Reign of Terror. So, get ready to step into the shadows.
Think about the stark contrast between your comfortable present right now and the terrifying, literally closet-sized room of a 16-year-old boy named Jean. Right now, wherever you are, your room is stationary, it's safe, and it's warm. But Jean's room? It's tucked way up high under the eaves of a sagging, leaning timber house near the Place de la Revolution. I want you to kind of feel the weight of your blankets and just block out the modern world for a second. Because Jean would give absolutely anything, and I mean anything, for just 1 minute of the safety and stillness that you are experiencing right at this moment.
To really understand who we're following into the gray morning light of the revolution, you kind of have to become Jean. You're an apprentice printer, and your daily life involves punking out these radical pamphlets. It's pitch dark early in the morning, and you're pulling on a simple linen shirt that's heavily patched at the elbows and a wool vest that, well, honestly, it's more holes than actual fabric at this point. You're moving super carefully, trying not to wake anyone else up as you tiptoe across 200-year-old, totally sagging floorboards. And keep in mind, this whole building is physically sinking into the thick Parisian mud.
And here's the kicker. At just 16 years old, your body already intimately knows that brutal, deep-bone carpenter's ache. Why? Well, because you are surviving grueling 14-hour shifts at the printing press. This isn't some life of leisure or abstract revolutionary thought, right? It's a relentless, physically crushing grind just to exist for one more day in a city that's completely on the edge.
So where do you actually rest those aching bones after 14 hours of hard labor? Well, there's no plush mattress beneath you. Actually, scratch that. There's barely a bed at all. It's literally nothing but a rough canvas sack stuffed with flattened, crackling straw. It shifts uncomfortably and loudly every single time you move. Kind of like the miserable beds you'd find in old Lisbon or the London slums around the same era. Sleep here doesn't bring true comfort. It really just brings a brief, super uncomfortable pause before the whole cycle of labor starts all over again.
And that misery bleeds right into your morning routine. The exact second you step out of that crackling straw bed, your bare feet hit a completely ice-cold stone floor. And guess what? Your first physical task of the day isn't even your actual job at the press. No, you have to grab 2 massive wooden buckets and do the heavy water run to the public fountain, just like servants over in Lisbon's Alameda district have been doing for generations. After hauling all that immense weight back, you immediately go join a bread line that stretches 3 whole blocks, a line that physically hums with the angry, nervous vibration of a starving city.
As you wait in that line, we really need to look at the harsh economics of your survival. This is the math of revolution.
Historians actually have a term for your daily reality. They call it the poverty penalty. It's basically the idea of paying a literal surcharge for your own desperation, simply because you can't afford to buy survival necessities in bulk. This brutal, everyday math is exactly what sparks revolutions. It's not just high-minded philosophy being debated in fancy cafes. It's an empty stomach and an empty wallet being forced to pay more for less. Just look at the reality of your earnings versus your expenses. It's terrifying. You earn just a few measly copper coins a day printing pamphlets shouting about liberty, yet you pay double for basic warmth. Because you're poor and don't have capital, you have to buy firewood by the tiny bundle and coal by the scuttle. The devastating result here? You are paying a massive premium just to stay alive. The math is completely rigged against your survival from the very moment you wake up. And what does that hard-earned, penalized money actually buy you for breakfast? A chunk of incredibly dense, dark rye bread. And we're not talking about the soft, easily digestible white bread that the rich get to eat. No way.
This dark bread is literally designed to sit super heavy in your stomach, just to trick your body into feeling full for a few hours longer. It's strictly fuel for a machine, not a meal to be savored. You wash that heavy bread down with some harsh lye tea or really sour wine. This incredibly meager breakfast acts as a vital backbone to help you survive the next shift. It provides just enough structural support to prop you up and keep you standing through the agonizing 14 hours of physical labor waiting for you at the press.
Which brings us to a profound, really heart-wrenching question asked by the women in the tenements. Stronger for what? You eat this rough survival food to be stronger, sure, but stronger just to work more hours for a revolution that paradoxically keeps raising the price of grain? It's this vicious, totally unbreakable cycle of working harder just to afford the very food that gives you the energy to go back to work.
Hauling your heavy buckets back home, the bells begin to ring, but they aren't a welcoming call to prayer, they're a warning. Welcome to the city of dust. Because suddenly, a terrifyingly familiar sound cuts right through the crisp morning air. It's the heavy wooden rattle of a tumbrel cart rolling right past you on the damp cobblestones. These are the carts carrying the day's condemned prisoners straight to the execution square. It's a daily, inescapable, highly visible reality of your environment. Death is literally rolling right past your front door.
And the mood of the people on the ground is just palpable. The crowd on the street doesn't cheer as the carts go by. They don't throw things or riot. They just watch. They watch with these gray, dusty, completely exhausted faces. They're entirely worn out by this city of dust. The grand, glorious revolution has just become this grinding, terrifying, numbing daily routine.
Think about the immense sensory shock of walking these streets. To escape the rattling carts, you duck your head and slip into the print shop. Here, the thick, acrid smell of printer's ink briefly masks the horrific stench of the open sewers outside. But beneath it all, there's the ever-present scent of damp cobblestones and this cold, metallic tang in the air that literally makes the hair on your arms stand up. It is the overwhelming, inescapable smell of a city living in constant low-grade terror.
As an apprentice printer, you are a survivor navigating a world that is currently tearing itself apart at the seams. Just consider the immense threats lurking in the shadows of your daily life. The government might completely collapse again by tomorrow. The dreaded white plague of tuberculosis might easily find you in your damp, freezing room. Or the blade of the guillotine might finally go silent. Or it might claim someone you know. Against all of this, your only real victory is the stubborn resilience of surviving just one more morning. So, as you let the phantom sound of those tumbrel carts fade away, and you sink back into the safety of your modern bed, I want to leave you with this final thought. History books endlessly remember the names of the famous men who signed the death warrants. They always remember the politicians. But who remembers Jean? Who remembers the boy hauling water, the unseen lives that truly built our world? What would our understanding of history look like if we finally focused on the heartbeat of the city rather than just the blade that hung over it?